Sports cards can be amazing long-term investments, but I also have 10 tips you need to bear in mind if you're becoming a long-term sports card investor. In today's video, we're going to talk through all 10 of those tips to make sure you can maximize all your long-term investment value. But first, play the music. So this is not my first top 10 video. I made another one and it was really well received. You guys reached out with a lot of positive comments and I totally appreciate that, so I'm making another one and I think hopefully this one's going to be as helpful as the previous. But if you like these kind of videos, just let me know in the comments below what kind of top 10 videos you want to see coming down the pipe and I will continue to make them for you guys. So today's video is my sweater backwards? My sweater is backwards. Hope the editor cuts that out. I'm just kidding, I'm the editor. Today's video is the top 10 tips for long-term sports card investing, and I broke that down into 2 different buckets. I have 6 tips of things that I want you to look for when you're thinking about investing long-term in sports cards. And then I have 4 tips of things you should definitely avoid. So without further ado, let's dive right in. When it comes to long-term sports card investing, I think it's actually important to establish right off the bat that we're treating these things basically like fine art. And just like with fine art, one of the driving factors in value is just scarcity, having a low population. So most of my top 6 things to look for when it comes to long-term investing have to do with something that's going to limit the population. And number 1 is autographs. On-card autographs are obviously the most desirable, but sticker autographs are still okay in that there's a finite number of them. The athlete has to sign them, the athlete's required to be there, or at least sign a sheet, so there's a limited amount of them that can be printed. Unlike the base cards or even the inserts that can just be printed by the tens of thousands. Much in the same vein as the autographs is buying parallels. I think we're headed towards another junk wax era. I've written that before, but the difference that we have going for us this time that we didn't have during the first junk wax era is that we have autographs and we have parallels. Those two are both shorter printed and literally have the number of copies on each of the cards, so we can trust that they have a significantly lower population. To illustrate, here's the 2019-20 Prizm Zion population. If you go to his base Prizm rookie, there is this astounding number of 10s. There are 22,000, almost 23,000 PSA 10 Zion base rookies, and then another 17,500 in 9. So between those two, you're looking at nearly 40,000 cards that are graded. So now, by comparison, let's check out the Red Ice Prizm, and this is not a particularly expensive one to acquire. It came out of the mega boxes at Target. There are only 56 of these cards in PSA 10 compared to, again, nearly 23,000 of the base cards. And sometimes it's interesting to compare the parallels with each other. Prizm Silver cards obviously are the most popular, but there's also the highest population of them. Check that out. There's almost 1,700 of these, again, compared to just 56 of these. So the silver should be worth significantly more than the Red Ice, correct? It is not. In fact, this silver just sold for $635, and then the Red Ice PSA 10 sold for nearly half of that. Since there's only a fraction of as many reds as there are silver, I'm going to buy the red every day of the week. Over time, the laws of supply and demand will catch up. That was kind of a long one, sorry, the next one's definitely not as long. But first, real quick, I've been paying attention to our YouTube channel analytics lately, and it turns out most of the people watching these videos do not actually subscribe to the videos. So if you like what you see here and could do us a solid, just click the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and then if you want to ring the notification bell so you never miss another one of our videos, it will help us as we continue to make these videos for you. We've also been picking a lucky subscriber every Friday and sending them sealed wax, so there might be something in it for you too. Now, number 3. Turns out you got to invest in the right brands if you're trying to make money long term. There's a lot of brands, and particularly since Panini found out they were losing football and basketball cards, they've been making all kinds of crazy brands that nobody really wants. I don't know how they keep coming back. They just brought Flux basketball back this year, and I'm like, who asked for that? We were all excited it was killed last year. We publish these articles on cardlines.com that are the top 10 most reliable brands to invest in. So check these out, and I think if you just Google best football card brands, this is the first article that comes up. This one's one that I wrote. I didn't write all of them. We have an awesome team that covers baseball, hockey, and other products, but I did the football and basketball. And here's a countdown of the different brands you should consider investing in. And to be completely honest, if you're buying something to hold long term, I wouldn't look anywhere outside of the brands on this list. and probably even the top 7 or 8 just for long-term holds. I don't know that Chronicles will be an amazing long-term hold. You want to hold something that's more of a household name, and if you just start at 7 and work your way up, there's everything from uber high-end to very low-end like Donruss. This is a very affordable box to buy into and has good potential as a long-term hold. Number 4, buy short prints, or even buy super short prints. SSPs is probably the most preferable way. Obviously, this is not rocket science. They're super short print. There's not many of them in the wild, so check the PSA population and then buy some that you like. Downtown and Kaboom are the first two that immediately come to mind. The 5th thing to look for when you're considering long-term investing in sports cards is buying sealed boxes. It could be blasters, but hobby boxes are more preferable, and there is actually a caveat that we're going to discuss in the back half of this video about which boxes you should not buy at all. I've talked about it in other videos, so I'll just give my 2-sentence summary here. Boxes are a great investment because you're investing in an entire rookie class, so you're not as at risk when it comes to injury. And also the particular sealed box you're holding becomes more rare every year because more boxes are opened around the world, so therefore there are just less unopened. They are population proof. That said, when you're investing in boxes, it really does depend on the year you buy because you want to have that good rookie class, and it depends on the brand. So like I said earlier, check the brand list on cardlines.com before you buy a box to hold. I'm going to talk about a few boxes you should avoid later in this video, so keep watching for that. Finally, the last thing to look for is do yourself a favor and try to buy the underpopulated parallels that could have good long-term value. For example, on the list of top football and basketball cards, spoiler alert, but I rank Prizm and Optic number 1 and 2 in that order. That said, let's go back to Zion since that's what we had pulled up earlier, and remember there are almost 1,700 of his cards as a silver Prizm in PSA 10, and then if you go to Optic, his holo, which is the equivalent of the silver Prizm, there are just under 600 of them. So for Zion's rookie year, he has about a third as many Optic holos as he does silver Prizms in PSA 10, but the prices do not reflect that. Again, this recent silver Prizm sold for $630, and this recent Optic holo sold for $156. I'd buy 4 of these over one of these any day. Now we're going to switch it up a bit, and I want to talk about 4 things you should avoid for long-term investing. Not as sexy, very necessary. The number 1 mistake I see a lot of people making is investing in overgraded base cards. For example, we looked at Zion earlier, look at Luka. His Prizm base PSA 10, there's almost 20,000 of them, and people are paying quite a bit of money for these cards. These are not going to age well, just because, like I said, there's 20,000 of them. Look at the population of some of the pink ice, this was the Walmart one, 700 of those. That's just about 5% as much. In the long run, it's going to be a lot better to pony up the extra cash now to buy something that's going to be way more valuable in the future. The second thing to avoid is don't buy jersey cards. Some patches are okay, particularly from high-end brands, but jersey cards are getting worse and worse. Look at the back of this Davante Adams card. The guarantee here says the enclosed authentic memorabilia is not from any specific game or event. I mean, from what that guarantee says, this could have been a black shirt from Walmart. We really don't know. So jersey cards are becoming a riskier and riskier investment. Don't get them. Earlier I said buying wax can be a good long-term investment, but I also said I was going to caution against some, and now's the time. The third thing to avoid is any Panini products from 2020 to 2023, maybe even moving forward. I'm really worried that most of them are not going to age well because they ramped up the print runs sky high. As soon as sports cards took off during the pandemic, they really took off with the print population, and of course they don't disclose any odds, so you don't know how many boxes are out there, but many estimate they 4x, 5x, or even 8x the 2018 print run. So anything after 2020, there are just so many boxes, I don't think they'll be a great long-term hold. And lastly, this one might be a little bit cheesy, but don't buy cards that you don't enjoy. Chase players that you enjoy rooting for and cards that you like the design of, because you don't want to be holding on to a lot of stuff for other people. It is a hobby after all, and while it can be lucrative, the best way to experience it is by doing things you enjoy with it. Thanks for watching this video. I hope it helped. Now be sure to watch some more of our videos. Here's some good ones right there.